Well, hello, everybody. Sorry for the slight little glitches going on. There are a few going on. We have sun flares and everything else, but tech is what tech is. And we are now very happy to be there. I'm Karina and this is Sandy. And this is CSI, Create a Source of Inspiration. And it is about becoming inspired, enjoying life more, being able to inspire others. And there's all different ways to become inspired. So today we're going to tackle a little bit about the art of letting go in the form of purging. And Sandy's going through this right now in her home. And ultimately, by shifting things around, eliminating things that are old, stale, you don't use, getting them to somebody else that can actually get benefit from it, all these things allow you to be able to free up the energy so you can flow with it better. And I know when you're talking about, you know, when you remodel a lot of different homes and stuff, because I love to watch those shows, you know, I always watch like Battle on the Beach and things like that, and the Property Brothers, just to see when, if you're even physically opening the house, the difference of the flow of the energy and how it's not only more functional, it gives you a better life on a daily basis. Well, in a smaller portion of that, it's also about the stuff that's around you, the clutter that's around you, putting on a new fresh face in the house. I mean, you know, we do shower and wash up every day. And why? Because we get clean. So where we're residing also deserves that same type of attention. And what it can do for you is pretty darn amazing. So Sandy's gone through a few things already and would like to share a little bit about what she's experiencing on that.
Thank you, Karina. I have barking dogs in the background, by the way. So I decided to start getting rid of things. So I even removed my great-grandfather Lewis's handmade dresser. And that was heartfelt from me. But I looked at it that I was passing on his love to someone else. So even though it was very emotional for me, I was letting go of the emotional energy, but I was also passing it on in love to someone else that could benefit from his loving hands that made it, to give it to someone else. And that's how I looked at the entire process that I've been going through, that I obtain things out of gratitude and love, and I am giving things out of gratitude and love. So everything that I have gone through, I have donated. I've not sold anything, even my antiques. I have totally donated everything. My desk, my filing cabinets, antique table and chairs, everything, clothing, everything has been donated. And I feel that that energy, I know, of giving in love to someone else is going to help them in their lives, just like those items has served me well in my life. And I can feel the energy changing around me in my home. Just like when we were visiting yesterday in the room that's my office, I can feel that energy. It's different. And it's because of all those items are gone. They no longer serve me. So it was time for them to leave. And sometimes we just hold on to our possessions because of the meaning, because of the memories. But we have those here and here. And we never forget those memories. Time to let go. It's time we don't forget.
Well, you can also take pictures.
That's right.
So you can
We have a box
keep
of
a memory
pictures.
that way if you want. But sometimes we acquire things also just because we get attracted to it. And initially it had no meaning other than being attracted. But there is an art of psychometry, which people can read energy off of objects. And sometimes, even though we get attracted to certain things, we don't really necessarily want all that other energy hanging around us, but it's subtle. So there's no way necessarily, unless you take the time to really tune in, to be able to tell that. So the easier thing is flat out, if it doesn't serve you anymore, then it honestly is time to let it go. That also has to do with purging inside the stories that you hang on to that have colored your life and set different courses. That too is a form of purging, which is not really as easy as removing a physical piece of something. But starting to move a physical piece of something, all of a sudden will open it up to be able to remove other things and let them go and transform on different dimensions. And we have several dimensions within us. It's just like with all the workshops I used to teach, and it's moving energy in a completely different way. It is not necessarily easy for people to tap into that as much as when I did my fitness portion of my fitness studio, where I could give them physical things to actually execute. But once they started executing that, they started feeling better. And as they felt better, they start to open up more to different possibilities, and overall was a nicer personality. So it works the same with things, articles. Memories, as Sandy said, we hold in our hearts. And yes, we try to hold them in our mind, not always, but they do stay in our hearts. So that's why I say take a picture or something, if it's that important. So how does this inspire you? Well, when that lower frequency and anything that's not serving you anymore is not vibrating at a high frequency for you, it's not aligned with you any longer. So with that, you want to allow the lower frequencies to be able to go, so you can expand and raise your frequencies. And in that higher frequency, that's where possibilities live. That's where all these amazing things happen. But once again, it goes right back down to moving the energy. So physically move some stuff. It doesn't matter if it's small, but Sandy here has taken on her entire home to renovate it all at once. And summertime is, I find a lot of people do that. Summertime, if they're not moving, they're moving everything within the home. So, but it can be an ordeal. Yes, Anne? So,
Yes, it can.
so patience, right? Patience is
Right.
necessary, but organization also comes to play and to be necessary. So you actually don't go out of your head, and always keep your, as the expression goes, eye on the prize. Why you even set out to do this, when it gets a little rough and uncomfortable and highly inconvenient for a while, it's worth to stick it out. No matter which form you're working at letting things go, because when you come through it all, there is such an amazing blessing or blessings that come from all of that. But it also does take some courage to attack things like that as well.
It also takes acknowledging those feelings that comes up when you're letting go too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not about, so you can't let go if you ignore and submerge. That's not letting go.
Right.
And so a lot of people, when they feel they've let things go, all they've done really is ignore and suppress them. And through the years, that eventually erupts like a volcano in ways that you can't even possibly imagine. Same thing with an overstuffed house. No space left to breathe. So inspiration is a very practical thing in our life as well. It's not like you have to look esoterically for it. However, it's all around us that way. But it's in our daily lives that open that back up. I mean, you know, sometimes when you just start to feel so complacent and stuff, sometimes it is just about a little change. That little change is about moving energy in a different path, something that is more in tune with you, of where you are or where you want to be. And ultimately, isn't that the goal?
And if you think about it, just visualize something that is taking up space and imagine if it wasn't there, what you could do with that space.
So allow yourself to perceive parts of your surrounding a little different, and maybe put yourself together just a little plan. I'm not talking about tackling a whole big huge project, just a small little, although it does open up to that, but a small little sizable thing that could first start off, take maybe 15 minutes, 30 minutes tops, and just see how good you feel just by that small piece of a change in a switch in letting go. Because ultimately, it does inspire you to go and take a look and start moving something else around.
That's what happened to me.
So why is this all important? We get bashed on a daily basis with how hopeless things are, how difficult, how out of control, how insane, and all this, and we're bombarded with it. But we have levels of control that can switch that regardless. The helplessness is when you feel you have no power in any given situation. So it is so important to start to understand the power within you. And when you start to embrace that, and that's why I just did the 3-day challenge of clarity connection to help start to move things along again, so you can start to understand the power within you. And once you start embracing that and taking I don't care if they're micro steps, they're all steps in the right direction. And more things open up for you, because really the goal is for you to flourish in your life, not survive, but to be able to flourish in it. So, quick note on the replays, they are now down from Spiritual River Rising, but you can DM me if you would like to have the special links to view them for a little bit. And I just say DM because I would need your email in order to send you the links. So having said that, we just had the 4th of July. Stands for so many things about freedom and independence. Purging even your environment starts to give you levels of freedom. And letting go of past situations gives you a freedom where you're no longer anchored to those old stories, and they're not the things that are driving your actions. And that really is amazing blessings and independence. So beyond our beautiful country, and yes, every country has problems, but we have the most beautiful country here that I celebrate, and I'm very honored to be a US citizen, but I'm also international because I'm in a lot of places, so is San. And it is about bringing ourselves together honestly and celebrating ourselves together. And the happier we become, or the more joyful, then the easier it is to get along with other people with differences of opinions, not tolerate, but literally get along, and then be able to create something brand new, because we are our nature creators. So do something simple. Start purging around your environment. Anything you would like to add to that one, San?
Purging is not just physical, it's also inside, like you mentioned earlier. Just thinking about those stories that you're holding within, the negative ones, the negative emotions. You know, think about that. And why are you holding them? You know, surround them with love and let them go. You know, purge those, because they're holding you back, and you need to surround it with love and send it off. You know,
An easy
because
way.
we don't
sorry.
need negative energy within either.
And an easy way to do that, because a lot of people say, how I even get started? Honestly, you know, just write down small little phrases about it on a piece of paper, and then you can just cross it out and let it go. Allow it to transform, because energy is not created nor destroyed. It's transformed. So don't hang on to it. Let it go. And yes, some things are far easier than others, and that's why you have coaches and guides like us. And so there you have it. And of course, from the physical aspect too, there's a lot of detoxes one can do on that level as well, but it's all about letting go. And so with that, we took a little bit of extra time, but we felt being on the brink of the celebration of freedom and independence, that you kind of embrace a bigger perspective about it for yourself. So there's some helpful hints. We thank you for your time. Many blessings. And until next time. Bye for now.